Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Today we're speaking with Jen and Tanjariita. They're with holistickambo.com and they're going to share with us a little bit about Kambo, what it is, and their work with it. So thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, of course. So first, what is Kambo?
Well, Kambo is actually an extraction or a secretion from the tree frog down in South America. It comes off of their glands here and on their legs. And yeah, it's been used traditionally by, do you want me to go into the history of it?
Please. Oh, yeah.
So traditionally it's been used by multiple tribes, but 3 tribes that I know of, which is the Hunikuni, the Yawanawa, and the Matsis tribe. So I was trained in the tradition of the Matsis tribe, which they're located in outside of Iquitos in the jungles of Peru.
Nice. And how was that experience?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yes.
with this question will be asked. So is the frog hurt?
No. So, I mean, I can't speak to all frogs or how all Kambo is taken, but I can speak to what I witnessed in the jungle. And that is that, no, the frogs are not hurt. So actually what's happening right now, so traditional Matsi style is you take the frog, well, I can go into the whole hunting ritual, but basically and she witnessed it in the jungle too, you kind of go at night and you call to the frog, and then whatever frog calls back, you're kind of like, going and searching for it. And then you arrive at the tree of the frog that's calling back to you, and you start going up the tree, and the frog kind of like really slowly starts coming down, and then it kind of like, you put it on your arm, take it down from the tree, and then that's all done at night. So you could have like 4, 5, 6, 10, whatever frogs on you. Then you go back, or this was our experience, you go back to kind of the community space of the tribe, which is called the Maloka, and put them in the tree near the Maloka, and then you go to sleep, wake up in the morning, the frogs are still there, and you take them, and this is again Matsi style, you are spreading out the hands and kind of tying them really loosely to sticks, spreading out the legs and doing the same. And the reason for that, it's not to harm the frog, it's because the excretion or the extraction can only come from right here, which is also kind of playing with the metaphysics of it, I guess, because actually what it works on is the lymphatic system of humans primarily, which is, obviously right here and right here at the same areas. But there is a kind of, I guess, new wave of people who, instead of spreading out the frog like this, it's very, very time consuming, and really you're not getting all of the extraction, but they're holding it in their hands, and then you have another person kind of doing the same thing except without tying it. So I think it was called like non-crucified Kambo. So they call this the crucified. Yes. So there's that's happening. The reason why it's not done traditionally is obviously because you're going to lose a lot of the Kambo by having it in your hand. And I mean, these frogs are really, really big. So they're not your like jumping North American frogs. They are your tree frogs, which have hands and really long, and they're going like this really slowly. Yeah. So
cool. Yeah, very, very cool. So in the process, when you're working with someone, when you are both sitting with someone and holding space for them, what are some things that they may experience? And I know they'll see that on your website, but just to share a little bit about the process actually.
Okay. So physically, they will probably really immediately feel a heat rising in the body. Maybe their heart pounding, like their face is starting to kind of feel hot, and maybe hearing the blood, like when you hear kind of a whooshing sound in your ears, your skin color might change a bit. And that's just all signs that the frog medicine is going through the body. It goes through the lymphatic system and then gets into the blood circulation. And it produces those symptoms anywhere from within the first 5 seconds to a minute or so. And generally, you can start feeling a little bit of discomfort in your intestines or your stomach. Some people have other kinds of symptoms like sweating, shaking, or kind of getting more foggy in their head. So those are pretty individual. You could have some of those symptoms or none of them or all of them. And any given session can be really different. So even though you had them one time, next time you might not have those symptoms or have something really different.
Yeah, and that can be also specific to what's actually going on in your body and spiritually, right? So,
yeah. And so
can we rewind 1 second from the beginning? So what happens when they actually sit in front of you? Because I know that we have, right? So if we can go into that just a little bit.
Go ahead.
I mean, so we're going with like not just the combo process, but how we work with it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So if someone is sitting right in front of us, typically they're coming to me and Tanjariita actually for probably more spiritual, emotional, or trauma related issues.
Yeah.
So once in a while we will get someone with,
I wanted to say really quick, like the process of the actual burns. So I wanted to go a little bit into actually the act of what that looks like for somebody, if that's okay, right?
literally just what the burns are.
Yeah. And then you add the secretion. Well, just for people who don't actually know the process.
No, yeah, like that's good because you even asked me what is combo and I really didn't give an answer, to be honest. Like
Yeah. So it's like more in like, I definitely know the healing benefits, and that'll come out when we talk about when you both are working with people, but the actual physical act of the process of there are burns and then you put the secretion on and you keep it moist, right? And then that's when we start feeling those sensations.
Yep.
And
do you want to go through like what is combo real quick and then
yeah,
I'll go
please.
through the burns?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like I said she said what is combo and I literally was just like, oh, it's frog secretion, like what the fuck? So can you like answer that question and then I will go through like what actually happens? Okay. All right.
Yay.
So Kambo is known as the jungle vaccine, and it's a traditional medicine in the Amazonian jungle. There's several tribes that use it. Jen was trained in the Matsu's tradition, and the reason it has kind of come onto the map of the Western world is that we're now discovering that's a really powerful antifungal, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and a generally detoxing treatment. And the Matsus have used it that way in order to stay healthy and strong and, become the hunters that they are in the jungle. For us, it has also really clearly supported some of the more mental, emotional, spiritual symptoms that we're experiencing in the hectic Western world. And so that's why it's kind of spread more widely among the Western cultures.
Yes, and the actual process of combo starts with burning the first layer of your skin off, and this can be done with incense, or it can be done traditionally with the Matsu's tribe. How I learned is with tamshi. Tamshi is a vine that kind of weaves through the trees of the jungle. So either way, it's really small burns, and again, it's like this quick, and you're just burning the first layer of the skin off. And then the combo is actually dried onto a stick. We collected, I collected some in the jungle, and you basically put it's a secretion, so obviously it's wet, and you put it onto like a bamboo stick, and it dries, and that can last for years. So in the process of serving someone, I will rehydrate that with water. It will become again like kind of booger and I'll put that onto the burns and the process begins. So from that basically 5 seconds or even sometimes less from the time that I put it onto the exposed second layer of skin, then symptoms can begin.
Perfect. And so depending on the person and their needs, and I've witnessed this with you, Jen, so I'm familiar. It can range from any amount of dots, and you patiently work with them and go at a pace where it's very comfortable for them. And I want to say that, right? Yes, you will have physical sensations that could be uncomfortable, but as you're my witnessing, you working with people is a very safe environment, one-on-one or two-on-one in this case. And why is that so important to you both? Not that both of you are working with them, but doing individual sessions, like the importance of that.
Great question. So if you think about what happens in a combo session, you're detoxing, you're releasing. You might be releasing something that's physically going on in your body. Most likely, most often, you're also releasing emotional, mental, spiritual trauma, or just stuff that has collected over the years. And so for us, it feels really significant to work with that person one-on-one or two-on-one to help support whatever might be coming up, and to not have anybody else's energy interfering with that. Yeah. So we don't have 5, 6, 15 people in a room all purging at the same time, and then us trying to manage what is going on in that group. We're really focused on what's going on for that person. My over 20 years of experience as mental health professional and somatic therapist, we bring all those tools in and support the process. So rather than going to just a combo session where you're getting the dots put on and off you go, we stay with the person and help also have them a more of a presence or role, conscious role, so that they can feel like they're working with the frog collaboratively rather than just taking on this ride that's physically really pretty extreme, and then afterward wondering like, oh gosh, I wonder what happened, or that was pretty intense, and so there's more of a presence from us, but also the person receiving the medicine.
And then it does. I was just going to say, one, it's such an honor that both of you do that, because as we know and been in spaces before where there's energies flying, and it's beautiful that you both do that. We all three know like what that can be like, and I want everyone watching to know that that's a very important thing. So if this is something that you are thinking about, really take note of that. Also in that, and you showed this, you know how sometimes we can do an externalization. Yes, the medicine is working in us, but we can externalize that we're actually not collaborating with the frog. So that was wonderful that you shared that, because the fact that you're communicating with people and maybe giving them the opportunity to ask questions about what those things may have been or what came up for them really allows that to integrate on a mental, physical, and spiritual level in a much faster way. So that's a beautiful gift. Yeah. You were going to say something, Jen, I'm sorry.
I think it's just important to note at this time, Kambo is becoming more popular in the Western world. Europe, where we've worked in Europe and we've worked in America, and obviously, and I'm grateful that there's no regulations on it. At the same time, anyone who is interested needs to do their research as to how the person was trained, and if they've been in the jungle, and also how they work, because with Tanjariita and I, we do no less than 2-hour sessions with 2 practitioners present. And like I said, there's definitely like people who do groups, and if that's what people choose, like that's what you choose, but just to research and, see why people sometimes don't do groups. So, or, what the differences are, and also what you're going through. Primarily, we're working with it, and especially because of her over 2 decades of mental health experience, like we're going at it from much more of a spiritual and emotional perhaps trauma related approach versus I literally just want to have the dots on me. I want to throw up drinking last weekend or the drugs I did last weekend, and it's just a physical thing. So in my view, Kambo is never just physical because the frog spirit is always with us. However, how deep we can go with it is just like reflecting back to what Tanjariita said. It's a collaborative effort. And just in our work, I mean, I can give a bunch of stories. I can give many examples where people literally disassociated with one dot on and they're back and they are 6 years old and they're re-experiencing a trauma. So if that happens in a session where your practitioner, even if you're on a one-on-one session with a practitioner that has no experience with that, that can be a problem. Also, even worse, if you're in a group session with even just 3 or 4 other people and you're back, like it, our work that's why it takes 2 hours. That's why there is a jungle style to do this medicine. The jungle style is like, I'm going to burn 10 to 15 dots on her and I'm going to put all of the medicine on and she's going to go outside and come back when you're done. And good luck.
Which can be a fine way to do it.
Yes.
And actually in our work, when people come up for follow-up sessions, sometimes they do work with Jen and sometimes she does exactly that because that's what they're ready for at that time. But we feel it's really important for people to understand what they're doing, why they're doing this work, have a really good integration of what does this now mean? What is being asked of me afterwards? Right. So it's not like this passive experience where you come in, you get this thing done and off you go and you behave exactly the same way that you have.
Yeah.
To me, that's a waste of the medicine and a disrespect of the medicine. Quite honestly.
Yeah, and it's also, it's not really allowing whoever's sitting with you the true opportunity to really go as deep as they potentially could, right? And I know I wouldn't have not been in a group setting, so let me say that. But in those settings, I mean, I use the restroom. I'm like, up here I go, right? Like, if there's nowhere around, like I can just visualize like what would be flying around, and also could potentially be more concerned about other people than I would be myself, right? And that's not honoring the medicine or myself in that process, right?
Well, yeah, and that's a type of personality that like does obviously exist. There's people who in group settings like will be the ones to try to help others, and there's others who will just completely melt in on themselves. And
also I'll say, having worked in various healing modalities and settings for a while, that I do believe that people show up for the medicine in the exact way that they need it. And so
absolutely,
a group setting, and there is not that intensive, kind of holding that space. That might be not that good, but I don't want to say that doesn't have any healing work at all. It may very well be the next step that person needs, but the work that we're doing, we're really asking people to engage in that partnership with the frog, with us, with their own spirit.
We're asking them to go deep. So it's more, I'm not judging those groups at all. The research. However, in the context of the type of work that we foster, which is the deep trauma work, again, someone, just to throw out another example, we had someone come to us and, we always do a consultation with them, and she was talking about like, I just kind of want this as a detox. I don't really have any underlying issues. Okay. Prod, still no underlying issues, nothing in your childhood. Okay. So we're in the session and we're probably a good 20 minutes into the session. And all of a sudden, my mom committed suicide. It was huge.
That's not trauma.
So again, we don't always know in our lives why we're doing something and why we're drawn to it. Yeah. But there can be very deep, powerful reasons and things that come through. And that's who we're trying to attract. That is definitely the type of work we're doing. And so we hold the container for that. And so I guess instead of juxtaposing it to anyone else's work, like that's the kind of work that we're doing. Yes. That's definitely what we allow to come through. So, and that's my way and her way of honoring the frog. And it's been a very powerful journey so far.
What can I ask each of you, and if it resonates, like that's great. But what for you personally, not going into like any story, but what have you felt the most impactful for you with working with the medicine? That's hard because it's not one thing, but right.
Like working with other people or me working with Kambo?
Either way, like or how you've noticed the benefits just and for you. Like an example for me, I know that it has definitely helped clear up not only trauma, right, but also emotional stuff without going into like the actual story from past life stuff, right, that I brought here. And so, and that's huge because it frees up so much space to actually live right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could go into like bigger stories, but like, yeah, either working with people and I mean, I obviously like working with humans is like such a great gift that you both have, and earth, and sharing this medicine to help people heal. So that's a given, right? But go ahead.
So I think I have an answer.
Okay.
So the biggest gift that I've gotten, and this includes working with myself, on myself, and then working with others, is that, and I've spoken about this when we've spoken publicly about Kambo, but I feel like what Kambo does for me and what I witness in many other people that we work on is that it brings us, I'll speak for myself, it brings me to an internal wall. And it's an accelerated way for me to face that wall and to figure out who am I when the wall is right in front of me. So it takes me to like, I don't know how else to, you know what I'm saying, but I don't know how else to say like this wall, but I also see it in many other people. It's this point of like, for some people, and this is, you know, it's, I'm bored. Literally, I had one person, he said, I'm bored right now. That was his wall. And also what he was stopped at he's a very creative artist. And he was like not being able to like make art, right? So in Kambo, he just got to this wall of I'm bored. For a lot of people, it's pain. Again, all these different things can come up, but what I see every one of them has in common is it's taking us to the wall, and what are we gonna do, and who are we? Who do we become when we're faced with it right here, right now, and you have a choice of how are you going to let it go? Are you going to bust through it? How much strength does that take? How much surrendering does that take? And it's like always this magical mix of both. And can you handle it? Or in my case, because I'm like, have been applying it to myself, am I going to just take off the Kambo and just be like, I'm done? So that's to me the magic and the very real, I don't want to say results, but the very real workings of Kambo is that whatever you're facing in your life, that's what you're going to face in Kambo, but you have the chance in Kambo to actually bust through that wall, let it all go, and just see what happens.
Yeah,
that was so perfectly said, right? That's like, I might actually have chills and a little teary-eyed.
Yeah, I would totally echo that. And you know, in the work that I've done with people somatically and, you know, with hypnotherapy, regular talk therapy, yoga therapy, even people who really sincerely want to do the work and they're really, you know, they're trying their hardest and they're doing healing and they're doing meditation or yoga and they're eating well, they're still coming up against something that then in those sessions I felt like, gosh, I just know we need to bust through something and I don't know what that something is. And once Kambo came into the picture, it was like, yes, this is it. It can put in the next gear so that we can then work the next level. When that plateau comes again, then we can say, okay, there's ready. So there's this combination again of like, you're doing your own work. Kambo can help you get through the little thresholds and then go again. And that's definitely true for myself too. Like Kambo showed up, I was kind of an involuntary, unsuspecting victim. When Jen first did it, I was like, oh, great, I'll support you. And that sounds crazy. And never, no, thank you.
Yeah. It was very serious.
Yes. Yeah. I had zero intention of ever doing it and experiencing it. And then my father died. And actually, that was the day that I was to have my first session because Jen had just returned from the jungle. And I thought, if we're going to work together, I have to at least experience this medicine once. And really thought that's all I was going to do. And then I got word that my dad had died. And without going into the long story, that day really transformed into a Kambo session without me even having Kambo on and the frog coming in and helping. And after that, it was like, okay, this benevolent being, like I tear up thinking about it now. Like, so powerful.
So powerful and so powerful and so beneficial. I can't even actually explain the healing benefits. And now you got me, Tanjariita. And the true healing power available to us. And I know when people work with you, it is on such an amazing deep healing level, but also an ability for them to actually truly integrate the teachings of not only the medicine, but how you hold space for them and the dialogue that you share with them. And going into that just a little bit, I want to say, one, thank you both for doing the work. And anyone thinking about this, please reach out, ask questions to Jen or Tanjariita. And it can be, you can heal. I want to say that we can all heal. And I feel like most of us have some sort of trauma. And what we have available to us now is so incredibly powerful. And we don't have to stay stuck in the pain. So I do want to say that. And it is an accelerated way of doing working with yourself and the medicine, right? It definitely helps clear up space. Tanjariita?
I was going to add to that also, like one of the things I've noticed physically for myself is I've had all this knowledge, information, access to training, my own therapeutic work, Kundalini yoga. And even then, I struggled plenty with my own anxiety, depression, addictions, food, drinking wine. And the more I've done Kambo and really held that intention of, I don't want to hold on to a crutch that is helping me stay stuck, the easier that's gotten. And it's almost like I can now look past, into the past and go, oh, wow, I don't use that anymore. Like that doesn't come up. Or foods that I used to eat kind of to reward myself to, for having been so good and done such good work.
Yeah.
Now it's like, why would I do that? And that's shifted in spite of myself, knowing my own personality. That has not come from me. That's been totally the frog supporting my body in getting to a point where that biochemical addiction base is not running the show anymore. That's been huge.
And something definitely to mention, that Kambo is not only good for trauma, but also sister to trauma, which is addiction, byproduct, the child of trauma. And so it can very much help with trauma and addiction, little or small. A lot of people like to think like, I don't have trauma, I had the greatest childhood in the world. And then lo and behold, there is something there that is, and maybe you don't have trauma per se, but maybe you have like chronic fatigue syndrome or some other chronic illness that maybe has its roots somewhere that you haven't quite unwound yet. So I also don't want to overuse the word trauma, but I do want to mention that is.
And sometimes it's simply just like a behavior pattern that doesn't make any sense. Like you're a smart, intelligent, educated person who's really sincerely wanting to heal, and yet there's some other underground program running the system. And that's really, Kambo can be so powerful in finding those places.
Find the teeny tiny little nooks and crannies. I want to say also, and I know we talked about addiction to food and other things, but how we can be so addicted to patterns and pain, right? And I want to like throw that out there because Kambo is very beneficial with that. And again, I'm going to say we don't have to stay stuck in pain. And I think that's really important for people to know that we have the ability to heal and we have this available to us. And please like really like look into your heart and trust that you can heal, right? Like
no matter if it's with Kambo or completely something different.
Yeah. So where can people reach you, and do you want to say anything else?
Well, our website,
Yeah.
holistickambo.com.
Yeah.
We're on,
And on what about Facebook or?
Facebook, Holistic Kambo.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Instagram, we have our own Instagrams where we post things. But we don't have like a Kambo Instagram.
Okay.
As of yet.
So thank you both for sitting and chatting with me. I know we are going to do some live stuff, and we'll get your retreats and information. So you do, so share a little bit about where could someone work with you?
Well, our main base is in Montana.
Okay.
So northwest Montana by Glacier National Park. It's a place called Columbia Falls. That's where we mainly are, but we also very often do sessions in Finland, and that's Turku, Finland, but anyway, it's very accessible to anyone in Europe too. So we're often in Finland. And then do you want us to say our upcoming?
Well, I know that I just wanted to let people know that you are available to travel for certain events. Like I know that you have some stuff coming up in Colorado and in Florida. So feel free to ask, right? If someone wants to set something up.
Yeah, and we've been to Orange County
several
times now.
Yeah.
And
you've been to Sacramento. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And we have a retreat coming up here in Montana at the resort, April 6th. Right?
Yeah. So perfect. Thank you both. And I will see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.